Go Music Alliance, Melissa K, head of music, Melissa K Productions, and I own Van Taylor Productions. Thank you all for coming out. We're here to share a little bit of knowledge of what we've learned over the years in songwriting, copywriting, publishing in particular, and also other little details in between, which could be anything from music performance to what not to do in this business. All right. We have a special performance. She's going to do a song, Jessica, who's right here. Say hi, Jessica. Hi. Jessica. And things of that nature.
Let me interject real quick. If anyone wants a pen or some scrap paper to write, I see some people like me that are like uncomfortable.
And we want to thank Dave. For having us here, as well as Teresa Riley, who has PR for TR, for helping us facilitate all this and bringing this together. Also, one of our other partners here, Michael Pinnock, and both these gentlemen come from a group called the Exotics. They're both Buffalo Music Hall of Famers. The group was a classic group back in the 70s and 80s and had a number of hit tunes as well. So for the songwriters, I'm quite sure you'll have questions for them. My group is called Tailor Made Jazz. That's my main group, and I go back to the 70s with UST Topaz, with a long history there. And Melissa Kate has the Melissa Kate Project, her band, and we have a number of dates coming up in the near future. Most of our information on us can be found in the brochures that we handed to you, as well as 3toGoMusicAlliance.com. So be sure to check that out. We're going to get right to it. Alrighty. I own a publishing company, production company, and a record label, an internet record label. And I think that's my short version. Okay, that's my short version.
So I'll give you the abbreviated version of mine. Name is Ron Walker. I grew up in Buffalo, so I'm native to this area. I went to Hutch Tech High School for those Hutch Tech engineer fans. And I started playing when I was 8. I play guitar. That's my main instrument. I also play saxophone, alto and tenor saxophone. I wrote my first song, I think, when I was 8. Shared it with the group when I was 13. And to Van's point on copyright, I had a different group actually take that song and record it. And regionally, it made it within the top 10 here locally. And that was like 7 years after I originally wrote the song. And I got no credit for that song. So I do have a record label and a publishing company. We're independent. That's where we really hang our hat. And like Van, I've done some touring, and I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but that's kind of my basic background. So we actually started, myself and 2 other partners, started that label in the early 70s, and we were the first minority independent record label in the area. So that's my claim to fame there. Little known fact. And that's as far as I'm going to go. Melissa.
Melissa Kate. I grew up in East Aurora. I was born in Troy, New York, baby until 10 in Kenmore, but then I spent the rest of my time here. So I went to East Aurora High School, East Aurora Middle School, went out to Fredonia. I'm a musical theater baby, so I studied theater, and I studied acting, and I studied the theatrical elements of performance. Took off right away for New York City, like every industrious college graduate does who's in theater, along with all of my classmates, many of whom are working on Broadway, or they're agents, or they're comedians. I ended up moving from the theater world to the jazz, swing, hip-hop world, which was much more enticing to me because there was more constant work that you could get paid for. And I realized part of the reason I love the musical theater is because it gave me the opportunity to sing, and that seemed to be where my heart really, truly was. As much as I love theater, it was the singing that I was really after. So being in a band afforded me the opportunity to sing more and get more experience. I came back shortly after 9/11 because our work got wiped out, and the most logical thing was to come back to home and start to try to rebuild and reconfigure and decide really where I wanted to go with my life. And I met this gentleman here who introduced me to music as a business. So unbeknownst to me, I made a huge career change from actress to singer/entertainer. And I learned a lot about the business from him. So we met in 2004, I believe, and by 2006 I had my own publishing company. I recorded and released an album and had another one that was on its way. I traveled to a number of different countries, and I had started to form my own band. Started to get under my belt what the music scene actually looks like, and at that time the music scene decided to completely change. And so we've been relearning it, coming from a different perspective than our younger people who've grown up with streaming and have grown up with. I mean, when I met you, we were still doing taped. I was taping tape with the pen and rolling it back, like actual tape. I was taping my rehearsals, I think up until I met you, about 2004, 2005, and I convinced him to go to CDs. And of course now we don't get to do that anymore. So my place here in this collective is that I've been operating underneath the whole transition into the streaming, into where the music business is now. So we're going to be giving you a perspective of the very great difference between where you started to where we are now, and we're hoping to help you get a sense of the history and give you a little bit of information about steps that you can take that you may not have thought of, or steps that you are taking that we can edge you a little bit further along on. So I think now what we'd like to do is we'd like to get a sense of who you are, what you know, and what you'd like to know, so we can better tailor our conversation with you. So college students. Anyone in college, or is everyone out of college now?
One, two.
Oh, we had a couple. Okay. Everyone else out of college now? And I mean, some y'all are kind of obvious. But then again, we go back to school, right? You never know. What are your interests? What is your role and interest in the music business?
What information would you like? Anything.
I can just call you out,
Shout
or you
them out,
can
yeah.
shout it out.
Who owns what? I guess
Who owns what?
Third thing.
Great.
When you talk to publishers, or you talk to these services that they could sell a song to you for film or something, how do you retain ownership? Should you retain ownership? What's the deal there?
Great.
Anything else? Any band members? Anybody in a band or?
Yeah.
Okay, a few. How long? Give me just a sense for how long you've been doing it, or how long the band's been together.
We've been playing since 1989.
89. Okay.
Just on and off with bands. And I decided to, obviously, I run my own stuff. You know, I was a band here called Purple, local. We run for about 20 years. And I just, I will never stop writing songs.
Good.
You know, and I've gotten to the point where I contacted Library of Congress, I got the paperwork, I filled everything out, and it's sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I tried calling entertainment lawyers, never got called back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was thinking about going on a taxi, you know, and I don't know what stops me from doing this.
Okay.
You know, it's really my passion I love all music, you know, and in some way, shape, or form, I want to get into the business.
Okay.
You know,
Oh, over here.
I've been in various bands for 3 years. One band was Chris Howard for a couple years, played music for 3 years. But that made me pretty curious and like trying to stab into the band, into the industry, and like doing that and living about.
Okay. Anybody else?
Singers. Young
Hi.
lady right here.
Yes, I'm a singer. I love writing music as well. I sing in Spanish and English, and I like to do dancing and singing at the same time. And I like to put on very theatrical shows with really elaborate costumes and dresses and fashion and things like that. I sing for different company parties in the area, and I sing for different bars in the area, things like that, and paid shows, but not too much. But I'm working on trying to build a band sort of around my music. Right now, I was contacted by a band for Spanish, and they're doing like Spanish type of music, which is really good for me. That's kind of what I was looking for. So they're more of a Spanish salsa band, actually. So I'm working on songs right now, learning the Spanish songs for that right now. But I would love to continue with original music that I love writing. I love writing really positive, upbeat music to help people feel better. And so I'm working on that with a band that I would, that's my potential that I would like to do with the originals.
Okay.
Excellent. And then you play with her? Is that?
Me?
He plays guitar. He plays guitar.
A little bit, but see, the problem is like, we need a band. Like for me, I'm not really. I've got inconsistencies with my style. It's good for some like really out there stuff, but for her, she's way more professional. She's got really a good voice and a good vision. And the good thing is it's always going to be in her. Like this last gentleman, like that's what he feels. So her soul's into it. We just try different avenues. Whatever comes across, we try to pick up like this. We just heard about this last week.
Okay.
So we want to get as much information we can. We've copyrights. We don't do it because we do it with emails. I don't know if is considered a protection if we send an email to someone that the line starts with us, so we're the one generating. If there's nothing else out there, that's we use it because then I think you have to pay for copyrights. We tried that once. The problem is musicians, they don't get paid much, and it's hard. They have to work. Like right now, people have to work 2 jobs just to make a living. Where are they going to find the time? Unless you want to be poor, which is fine. Of course, it's fine if you love what you're doing. But it's to get other people going. You need motivation, and then they know how tough it is to actually make money in the business. You got to be like top 1%. So it's just for us, it's fun, and we enjoy it. So we just try to take any knowledge just to get to the next level and see what life brings us. So we just try to have every opportunity open for us.
Okay.
Nice.
We have kind of a time limit for doing this, but I'll speak on their behalf, and I don't know about them, but I'll stick around as long as you guys want to stick around. But we are trying to do this within an hour to deliver this, but after that, we'll stick around as long as you want to talk. I don't know if you guys have something going later, probably.
Oh no, I'll hang out for a minute.
So we'll be here as long as you guys want to talk any information, even one-on-one. We'll be happy to do that. So I think we have a sense for how we may be able to tailor what we talk about. And since this is kind of a workshop, and as Van had mentioned, there are varying degrees of detail that we could go into in depth of knowledge depending on what you already know. Or where your interest lies. So this is at the highest level. We're going to go like an inch deep and pretty broad. But if there's a specific subject that you like additional, deeper information, I would suggest talking to us right after, and we'll be happy to do that. So with that, now Van, we're caught up to where you were trying to be.
Okay. Copyrights. First, I often hear about people who, back in the day, used to write a song, put it on a piece of paper, and mail it to yourself.
Like you just described.
Yeah, email it. That's not what you want to do. It's not valid, and no, your stuff is not protected.